Okay, hello and welcome to Lizzie Sophia TV. I am doing a little bit of a different format because I find this easier, and this is a video that I have been promising for ages, so I wanted to finally get it done. This video is about how to night wean a co-sleeping toddler without kicking them out of the family bed. So I am actually still breastfeeding my daughter, and she is coming up to 3.5 years old. But I first night weaned her at 18 months. And I do say first night weaned because I ended up allowing her to feed again overnight and then re-weaning her again later down the track. But when she was 18 months old, I night weaned her and we went cold turkey. And I want to talk about why I made that decision and the different things that I had researched about it. So this is my beautiful daughter Amelia, and she was 18 months old when I decided it was definitely time to night wean. Up until that point, she had fed almost every 2 hours overnight her whole life. And it was actually okay for me up until that point. I just hit 18 months and I was like, I'm done. I am done. You're big enough. You're old enough. We're not gonna feed overnight anymore. And so I'd read a lot about gentle weaning, different ideas on how to stop overnight feeding. And the main article that people point back to is this one, Changing Patterns in the Family Bed. It's by Dr. J. Gordon, and I know this method works for a lot of people, and I think if my daughter was younger, I would have used this method. Dr. Gordon only recommends from 12 months onwards for the method that, I don't know if it's a woman. Anyway, J, I'm not sure if that's a man or a woman. But that method is only recommended for babies beyond 12 months. But because my daughter was 18 months old, she was already speaking. She was very articulate. We could communicate very clearly. And the idea behind this sleep method, weaning method, is to choose 7 hours that you want to go without feeding the child and to settle them in different ways during that time. And so I think it's recommended from 11 p.m. till 6 a.m. But my understanding of my daughter was that she got black and white. She's a toddler. She understands we're doing this or we're not doing this. But vague, like during these hours, you're not going to get to feed, kind of, I didn't think it would work for her. I felt like I knew my daughter and it would just turn into a debate. So what I decided to do was purchase a book called Nurses When the Sun Shines. And this is a beautiful, beautiful book. It's a soft cover book. It's thin, like it's only a few pages long. And it tells the story of the sun's going to sleep. Now mummy and daddy and baby are getting into bed. And we'll have nurses when the sun shines. And so when I read it to my daughter, I said Susu when the sun shines because we call it Susu. And it has, beautiful pages that say, if you wake up and it's dark outside, it's night-night's time. We'll have Susu when the sun shines. And it really reiterates that message. And so that was the strategy that I wanted to take because I thought that was really concrete. It was like, when the sun shines, you get to feed. Before then, we're asleep and we're going to cuddle, but we're not going to feed. And so what I did was the day that I decided to night wean, from the very first thing I did in the morning was read her this book. And it was the first time she had seen this book. And this book actually recommends like a slow introduction, read it to them for a few weeks, talk to them about the idea. But again, I felt like that's just confusing to a toddler to read something and say, we're going to do this, but we're not doing it right now. I didn't feel like it would work with my daughter, and I thought it would really open up that scope for like negotiating and think it was a negotiable thing, and it wasn't for me. so the morning of, I read her this book, and all day I said, let's read the book. Oh, do you want to read the book together? And we literally read it at least 30 times in that one day. And every time I'm like, do you understand, sweetheart? Tonight, when the sun goes down, we're not going to have any susu. Mummy will give you cuddles, but we're not going to have any susu until the sun shines again. So that's actually how I night weaned her. And it was a really positive experience. The first night, I think it was the first night, she cried for about 20 minutes. It was about 20 minutes of like trying to cuddle her, and she didn't want to cuddle. She wanted to feed. And then she went to sleep, and it was mind-bogglingly easy. I've talked to a lot of parents who did the same thing as me, essentially went cold turkey, but they didn't have the book to help them explain it. And I know our parenting styles were very similar. And they said, you know, their kids really struggled for a week. They were really crying, distressed for a whole week of weaning. And I really thought that this book really, really helped. It really removed the stress because it was clear. The concept was clear, and it was a beautiful story. We got to read together, and it was a really positive experience for us. So I highly, highly recommend this book. It was the best the best investment that I made in my night weaning journey. I don't make any money off this. This is a completely independent review and recommendation. So I thank you so much for watching, and I thank you so much for your patience with my channel. I have found it a bit difficult to make videos, so I'm going to start doing a bit more in this style. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, make sure you do subscribe because I have got more content coming, I promise. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.